I think that there's three characteristics that really set the great administrators apart from the others. Obviously, one is strong personal character. The job demands a lot of decisions and challenging situations that don't have easy answers, and you have to draw on something. And I think so. The first thing is you have to have a tremendous amount of personal character and conviction about what you believe. I think the second thing is you have to love people. At the end of the day, I remember my first superintendent telling me it's a people business. Nothing is more important than our ability to connect and love and to support and to encourage those around us. And so you have to have a great capacity and love for people. And I think the third thing is the technical piece. You have to think systemically. I often think of our business especially as a principal, as a Rubik's Cube. Every decision you make has complex implications. And so that level of complexity demands that you think systemically, and to be able to manage that and to understand how one variable is going to affect another variable. And so I think those are the three things that set great administrators apart: great character, a love for people, and their ability to think systemically. It's probably always been important, but I think mentorship has become critical in the era in which we live. The world's gotten so complex, and the complexities that you face on the job as a school administrator are beyond you, frankly. You're going to need supportive people around you, not only your faculty and your staff, but it really behooves you to have a seasoned administrator or two, or maybe even somebody outside of the system that acts as your mentor, that gives you a sounding board to listen well and to help you process what's going on in your head as you try to make quality decisions and to keep your priorities straight. So I think mentorship is essential. I think it's important in all industries, but in our industry, it goes without saying that without a strong sense of purpose or somebody you can count on to talk things through, you're not going to be as effective. And I'd also say one more thing about mentorship. One aspect of mentorship that I think is super important is that we're always trying to continue to grow in who we are, to be the best version of ourselves. And we can't do that on our own. We can't be as reflective as we need to be. We need a mentor. We need somebody who can help coach us, especially early in our career. But even as you mature as a leader, even as you've expanded your range of skills and competencies, I promise you, I was an administrator 29 years. Even on the last day of my job, I needed somebody in my life, somebody who I felt that I respected, who I trusted, who I could reach out to bounce ideas off of. The job is complex, and you're going to need to have somebody who you can count on to be there for you when you have questions. There's a lot said about trying to predict the future of what's going to happen in education or in industry or in the marketplace or in the stock market. Nobody really knows for sure what's going to happen in the future, but I think that sometimes that's overstated. I think the principles of being a great leader won't change. I think the human condition doesn't change. And so all those things about being able to connect with others, to meet the needs of others, to act as a servant to other people, that's not going to change. So the principles of being a great leader, I think, will be consistent. What I think certainly is going to change are the methods that we use. And so I think it's critical that we stay nimble, flexible, and to be able to adjust and use new methods and not be stuck or in a rut. So I like to think of it that way. The principles of being a great leader won't change because the human condition doesn't change. But the methods we use, the approaches we use, the strategies we use, certainly they're going to change, and you have to be able to stay nimble and adjust and adapt to whatever's coming at you next. Ethics becomes the bedrock of being a leader. It becomes the critical point because when you go to work every day as a leader, you're being pulled in so many different directions. There's so many constituencies and forces at work that are trying to lobby you to go in one direction or another. And ethics are what keep you to your true north. It's that sense of knowing what the right thing to do and not always the popular thing to do. And it's that your ethics, your understanding of the mission and the vision of what you're trying to accomplish, and not wavering, not compromising, And of course, it's exhausting and challenging, but it's your ethics that give you that sense of peace when you put your head down on the pillow at night, to know that you were driven by principles. You were driven by what's right for kids, what's right for the staff, what's right for the community, not by whatever has been pressuring you or is trying to leverage you or sway you. Ethics are what keep you solid and committed to the vision and the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. I had the unique opportunity to return to a school where I had been the inaugural principal. I left to go be the inaugural principal at another school, but I had the chance to come back. And it was a very interesting experience to come back to the school that I had started and to be with my staff again. And I remember a topic, an issue that came up that did not come up the first time that I was principal, and that was how we were allocating resources and how we had allocated them when the school initially opened. And I remember being extremely challenged by the fact that in our initial inauguration or opening, we had really devoted our resources to the majority of students we anticipated coming to the school. And it wasn't intentional, but we realized the second time I came back to the school that really we had subpopulations or little pockets of students who were not being served as well as they might be. And I remember thinking, we're going to have to reallocate resources. We're going to have to be committed to all students. And what it meant was going against the tide. It was going against what the school had done for 10 or 12 years and allocating resources in a different direction. And that was particularly challenged because I was there when we allocated them the first time, and realizing, yeah, but you know what? There really is a pocket of students that really need us right now. And we had to make those difficult decisions to pull resources away from one program or one approach and reallocate them towards a group of students that really needed us. And they needed us to stand in the breach and to advocate and to support them. And that was an exciting time, but it also took a lot of conviction to make that decision, because we were a very successful school, and there were a lot of people who didn't want us to make any changes, and yet it was the right thing to do. So I think that's where your ethics come in, is you have to be seated and centered on what's right and what's right for all students. And sometimes those make challenging, difficult decisions because there aren't always enough resources to go around. I think what makes the Jessup program distinctive and unique is that it's our commitment to wanting to work with the whole person, to help them in the process of becoming an amazing leader. But to do that, it requires that we all engage in the process of growth and transforming. That's why we say transformational leaders. It's that personal commitment to being the best version of yourself, which sets you on the trajectory and on the pathway to be the best possible leader you can be. So at Jessup, we're committed to that. We're committed to all of us learning together. We're committed to giving you the theoretical and research base that you need and the tools that you need when you get out on the job. But we're also committed to you being the person that you need to be when you're put in the position of leadership, when others are counting on you, when it's your turn to serve, when it's your turn to build up others, that you'll be in a strong position to do that with grace and strong sense of purpose and a strong sense of who you are and what you were meant to do and why you were called to be a leader in the first place.